Hello, it's Andrew Eborn here with another Lives on Lockdown. Delighted that my guest today is Urban Monk, the king of beats, coming straight up after this break.
How you doing? You all right?
Sorry, welcome back. It's Andrew Eborn here, and I'm delighted that my guest today is none other than Urban Monk. How are you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
Hey, not too bad. And whereabouts are you based at the moment?
I'm based in Birmingham.
Okay, all good stuff. How are you finding it during these extraordinary times?
Do you know what? For somebody like myself, I'm a creative, so I've actually got a lot of time on my hands to finish off projects that that need to be finished. So it's even though there's a lot of darkness surrounding us and stuff like that, it's actually been a very positive experience for me. Although I've lost people that's close to me, it's been a bit bittersweet, so to speak. But yeah, other than that, it's been, yeah, like I said, I've got a lot of, stuff that I needed to finished, and yeah, I've just been using the time wisely.
Yeah, and it's been, I talked to a lot of artists, and a lot of them have obviously lost, when responsible for either live gigs or other things. They either have turned in and sort of given up and find it really, really difficult, or they take advantage of the situation and say, look, this is the time that I can finish all the things I've been meaning to finish. It becomes a really creative time to get kickstart those projects, do the jobs you didn't want to do, you've managed to get underway. But you've turned it the other way. It's a really productive time for you.
Yeah, it is. Don't get me wrong, there's times where it's kind of like, oh, I can't be asked to do this anymore. And then it just gets like, there's been days where I'm just like, I just want to stay in bed. You know what I mean? So like, because of the lockdown situation, you can't really go out and stretch your leg. You can stretch your leg, but you know what I mean? You can't go further afield. So there are other days where it gets tedious. But ultimately, I get up out of my bed, do a couple exercises, and then just go straight in the studio and start doing some work.
No, brilliant. And that's why it's so good. It's actually inspirational for other artists who are finding it very difficult at this time. I talk with all sorts of people around the world, some of whom are used to playing massive stadia, and they need that buzz of being on stage with a live audience. And it's very tricky.
It is, like, obviously, because I'm not a stage performer. Most of my work is in the studio. So, and the thing that I need is time, which is, this situation is perfect for that.
Yeah, so and even as a producer, I mean, studio work, you often get so many people around you, and it's that sort of interaction. How are you coping without that interaction?
Do you know what? Like I said, it's more productive because I haven't got. There's times when I'm in the studio being creative, and then there's people saying like, "Yeah, you should put this on the track," and blah blah. I can actually do what I want to do and focus on what I need to get done, rather than focusing on other people's projects and all that kind of stuff, or having outside influences on my music. So it's a bit selfish, but it's all about me.
Well, that's okay. But take us back to your early days, because your mother was in the business as well, and that's how you first started, wasn't it? You went along with your mother to the studio and got inspired that way.
Yeah, so basically my mom, she was a reggae singer. And
what's her name?
Yeah, she wasn't famous. She was just a working musician, and she used to work for a company called Jubilee Arts, and they were like one of the first community-based just arts buildings. It was in a town called just outside Birmingham, in West Bromwich, and she was one of the creative directors of that company. So she had access to the recording studio, and when she couldn't find a babysitter for me and my brother, she used to bring us along, and we used to just watch her and the band jam. And then it was just kind of from there I really got a taste for the music world, man.
Brilliant. And the early influences, she was a jazz singer, you say?
No, reggae singer.
Reggae singer, okay. And so from that point of view, was that your early introduction to music? Did that sort of mold the way?
Yeah, it was. Well, I'd be listening to reggae, and obviously I used to go to church as a kid, so there was a lot of gospel influence there as well. So in my music, you'll hear a lot of reggae, and like reggae sounding basses and gospel type chords, and it's all a fusion of what I used to listen to as a child, man. So, but yeah, she was a major influence for me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've kept that kind of going on in the family.
Right. And were you very close to your mother?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm close to my mum. We have our tiffs every now and then, but that's just normal.
I think any family that doesn't have its tiffs is not telling the truth.
Exactly.
So tell me about what you're up to nowadays.
Well, at the moment, I'm just cooking my breakfast, man. But these days, I'm just kind of like, I took a step back from the music business, and because I just needed to make some quick money, so I went back into my barbering. So I'm a professional barber by trade, and I learned the craft when I was 14, and it's kind of I moved back from London. I think it was 2000, around 2016 or something like that. And I went to work in a barber shop. I wanted something different, man. So I actually got into the barbering business again, and just got hands on with it. And yeah, I've just kind of perfected my craft in barbering. So
I'll tell you what, that job more than anything, you're going to find people rushing to barbers when lockdown's finished.
I'll tell you what, I've cut a few heads over this lockdown, and it's what's kept me going. It's kept my head above the water, man. Like, if you've got a job like that, I mean, like, it's the one job that they can't replace. I was saying this to my friend the other day. They won't be able to. The machines won't be able to replace the humans. It's the one job. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
So there's going to be no mass sheep shearing going on.
No, man, not at all, man. Not at all.
but the other thing which is happening is people are being forced to cut their hair at home. And I know what's going to happen. They're going to go in the very first time after they're allowed to go back to the barbers, and the barbers are all going to shake their head and say, what has happened here? You know, when people are doing it themselves at home, it's going to be a nightmare, isn't it?
It's going to be terrible. I'm seeing a lot of my friends who have that, like, really, like, posh haircuts and stuff like that. They've all gone bald. Everyone's gone bald, man.
Right. For people sitting at home and still don't know when they're going to have access to a barber, what sort of tips would you give them about the home haircut?
Take it all off.
That's it. Just take it all off.
It's the easiest way, man. Yeah, it's the easiest way. It's yeah, it's and you know what? It's, if you want to save embarrassment, it's the best way.
Okay. And for the ladies,
tie it back. Stick it in a bun. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
So you're going back to the barbering, and I say you're not going to be out of work for that when people come back to lockdown. But in the music front, what are you working on at the moment?
Well, so music-wise, I'm just, you know what, I just decided to work on my own projects. I'm doing a project called Dem Panic, which is an anagram of pandemic. So yeah, and obviously, like, coming from the Jamaican background, people will recognise it as Dema Panic. People are panicking, so I've got that kind of theme going through the project. So at the moment, I'm just currently sending tracks out to artists, and they're vocaling the tracks for me, and I've got a few back. It's sounding really strong at the moment, and I'm happy with the direction it's going in. So that's what I've been concentrating on.
No, brilliant. Well, we'll get to hear some of those. We'll get you back on the show, and when you're ready to play some stuff, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. It's hip hop based. It's a hip hop album. That's the music that I make. But it's got a positive message on all the songs, and it's all like song choruses. I've got gospel singers on it, and some good rappers now, like young rappers who have come from the streets and telling their stories, but in a positive way. There's a lot of music out there. I've got a lot of killing on, and the body counts are high in their songs. And I wanted to do something different, but obviously have the same kind of. I still want the target audience, which is young people, to be able to recognise with it. But obviously have a positive message.
Now, I've been talking of a positive message. They say that you have the heart of Bruce Lee and the mind of Mozart. Where did that come from?
Well, my martial arts, isn't it? I've been doing martial arts since I was 12 years old. I won a couple world titles in my younger years. I recently came second in October. So I've been doing martial arts since I was 12, and it's kept me on the straight and narrow. It's kept me level-headed.
And what level are you at the moment?
I was at level. I stopped grading when I was quite young, and I just went. I competed competed for years and years. But if I was to have graded and kept grading, I would have been past master status by now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So no messing with you. That's basically what they're going to say. You can cut their hair. You can.
Yeah.
And what are you eating at the moment? What's on the menu at the moment?
Oh, I've just made some chips and onion rings, and I got a steak in the oven, so I'm just waiting for that.
Well, we won't disturb you anymore. We won't keep you from your chips and onion rings and your steak. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you. We look forward to taking you back on the show, and you'll play us something next time.
Oh, definitely. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Urban Monk, a real joy, all the way in Brummy land, having his chips and onion rings, and the steak is all good. And don't forget, get your barbering done. It's going to be good. I've been Andrew Eborn. We'll see you next time in Lives on Lockdown. Thanks for joining me.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.